All right, hey everybody. I wanted to go ahead and do a quick tutorial on this very first introductory project. Really, it's just learning the basic tools and the workspaces within Fusion 360. So when you launch the program, up here at the top, you're going to make sure that you don't have a little icon that says, subscribe now or trial. If you see something like that, you need to reach out to me so I can make sure that I can activate your license. Up here, right, we have our ribbon toolbar. It looks a little different than AutoCAD, right? We got some different tools here that allow us to model in 3D. So we, just like in AutoCAD, zoom in and out with the middle mouse wheel. When you click in, you can drag about. Up here in the top right, we have our view cube that allows us to rotate and pivot in a 3D space. Just like in AutoCAD here, we have our red and our green axes. We also have the third axis, which is our Z, or Z, which goes vertical. All right. Up here we have a data panel, which you can go ahead and click. And over here you have a bunch of options for projects you've worked on in the past. Here's some just stuff I was 3D printing for other things. You can go ahead and create folders within here to, organize yourself. You can also look at other projects from other teams. Great. Today we're just starting off with a blank new project. To do that, you would go up here to File and select New Design, but you can also just work in the default space that we're in now. Over here we have our Window Explorer, or this is our Project Explorer, so these are different areas here. Origin we're not too concerned about right now. You can toggle that on or off. It will automatically show when we're going into sketch mode or some of the other areas of our program. Name views, again, those are just views. Document settings, this is important. We can click on this little gear here and we can actually edit our units. So if I go down here to where it says units, I'm in inches, you can click the pencil and adjust your units to centimeters, millimeters, inches, all that good stuff. Today we're going to work in inches just because we're going to be working with a block and we're coming from an architectural project, so it might be good practice. On future projects that you do within here, we may be working in millimeters, we may be working in inches, and entirely depends on what it is our goal is. So today we're using inches. Great. So up here at the top, we do have a create area here that allows us to create shapes and objects. We're going to start off with a sketch. So we're going to go from a 2D object to a 3D object. Now we're going to make a cube, right? We could just bring in a box, but I'll show you how to do it from a sketch since that's good practice. So we're going to select the sketch and immediately you're going to see our view change. So these are the different sides that we can draw on. We're going to draw on a horizontal or a top-down view. So we're going to select this linear face, this plane, and it's going to change our view. Now we're in a top-down view. Up at the top, this kind of looks like AutoCAD again. The beautiful thing about CAD software is every time that you switch to a different program, it's kind of like getting in a different car. All the positions are in a different place. So up here at the top, we have our line tools, our box tools, circle tools, same things, right? Just different location. So we're going to select our rectangle tool. You can either click it up here, but you can also see the other options we have here. So we have a 2-point, a 3-point, and even our center rectangle. It's pretty convenient, so you can pick which one you want. I'm going to pick the center rectangle, and we're going to start from our center point here. You can see I'm snapping automatically. Over here, you have some more simplistic options for snapping. And that's a big reason why we pick Fusion, is it's pretty simple, but it's also really powerful. If you go on to study engineering, there's a good chance you're going to use things like Pro-E or Mastercam, other SolidWorks, right? It's all dependent on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. But this is great. It's favored by hobbyists, but also is really great for engineering designs. All right. So anyway, clicking here on the center point, going on a tangent, we're going to create our box. So we're going to create just like a basic play block for somebody. So why don't we make a 2x2? So you can type in 2, and then you hit tab, right? Just like we did before in AutoCAD, pretty easy tab to switch over. You hit 2, and we can hit enter. Right, we have our 2x2. Here you see these dashed lines, right? Now these are our construction lines, right? This is just showing that these are, perpendicular, parallel to each other. And we're going to go over here and click Finish Sketch. You can also click the green check up here, and we're left with this box here. You can see if I select it, I can select either these sides here, these construction lines, but I'm going to select the center. If you do want to select multiple things, you can always hold the Shift key and then select multiple objects, and that allows you to select everything or deselect as you please. Again, we're just going to select the center here, and we're going to go ahead and grab Extrude. Now we're going to extrude the shape up 2 inches, so you can type in 2 inches. On the right side here, we have a properties window. So whenever you're doing an action, this window is going to pop up, or a window similar. These options here can be adjusted based on what you want. So if I wanted a taper angle, we're not going to do this. We could adjust our taper angle to 190 is a little extreme. Maybe we'll try it 25. And you can see we can create varied shapes. So again, the angle tapered outwards is 25. So we're just going to leave that at 0 for now. Distance is 2 inches. Direction is one-sided. And we're going to start from our profile plane. So we'll go ahead and press OK. Great, we have our cube. With this cube here, we can add a couple features to it. So why don't we try out the bevel and the chamfer. So the first thing we're going to start out with is our fillet. So a feature that we used in AutoCAD, we can grab our fillet, and we're going to select this side right here, and we're going to do a fillet of 0.1. Now the great thing too is that we can do this on multiple, right? So we can select multiple features. I believe it will let me select multiple. If it doesn't now, we can hit Control. I believe it will let me select multiple. There we go. So holding Control lets me select several here, and we're going to make sure that it's set to 10. So you're going to chamfer the top there, and we can press OK. Great. Or I didn't say chamfer. I'm sorry. That was a fillet. That was a fillet. We're going to do a chamfer in a minute. So if you look here, we have our rolled out edges, and it's really nice because on those corners, it ends up looking really clean and neat. All right, we're going to try our chamfer now. So we're going to go up here, and we're going to select under Modify. You're going to go down to Chamfer. Now, chamfer is like a fillet, but it's a lop, so it takes it clean off. We're going to select all of our corners here. So again, selecting and then holding Control. You're going to go around and select all of these, and we're going to do a chamfer of also 0.10, 0.10, all the way around. We'll type in 0 and press Enter. There we go. We got our bevel blocks. And on the bottom, we're going to do one more. Let's do a fillet. So we'll go ahead and select fillet. And we're going to go ahead and select all of these again. And set it to a value of 0.10. We've filleted the top and bottom, and we've done a chamfer for the sides there. Great. Our block's coming along. If for any reason you wanted to view some different areas down here, you can change your display settings, and you can change your visual style to wireframe, which is nice if you want to see through your cube. And if you want to change the effects, so if it's lagging or something, you can adjust shadows. But for now, we're going to leave it the way that it is. There's also grid settings too, so if you want to adjust your snap to grid, so if you don't like the snap and you want to have a little bit more freedom with it, you can absolutely do that. You can also adjust your incremental move or adjust your whole grid settings. There's also display settings if you are interested in that. You can go under File, and I believe, it's actually you click your name up here, and you can go to Preferences. And this is where you can adjust a whole bunch of other things. But again, we're going to keep it just standard for today. We're not worried about that. The most common thing you'll change is inches. Sometimes you'll change in the middle of a project. That's quite all right. But we're going to adjust our cube a little bit. So I want you to select the frontmost face. So you're going to click Front over here on the View cube and snap to your front view. And we're going to select Sketch. So what's happening now is we're actually sketching directly on this face. You can see this cube here. This is our area that we're going to sketch in. So we're going to go ahead and select the Create option, and you're going to select Text. So when you go ahead to draw text, right, I'm going to draw a text box like so. I want you to type in the first letter of your last name. So mine is F for Fowler. You can adjust the font if you'd like. I'm not too picky right now. Algerian, that looks kind of cool. Let's keep it simple. There you go. Once you go ahead and select that, you can press OK. And you can move the text box so it is centered on your piece here. Oh, I seem to have rotated it. That was a mistake. Undo is great. Remember, Control-Z, Control-Z. So move that directly to the center. And we're going to roll from there. So you can click Finish Sketch. Now, we can grab the shape here and we can scale it if we would like. And we can also extrude it into our shape. Now I'm looking at it. It might actually be easier for us to edit it. Let me see. Yeah, it'll probably be easier to edit it as text. So this is a good tip. Down here in the bottom, this is our timeline. So I can actually pull this line back and undo things and see what the design would look like as we roll. So with my sketch deselected, you can see I can undo fillets, and I can actually go back and right click a feature and go to edit it. So if I wanted to edit my sketch because I just made a mistake, my F is not big enough, we can go into the edit sketch and actually select our shape, select our feature, and bring back up my properties window. I just double click that. Underneath here, I can increase my height. So if our block is 2 inches tall, I think 1.75 would be a good height. Perfect. Now I can press OK, and I can move my shape to center it. Again, I don't want to rotate it. That's a little funny. That seems quite all right to me. Perfect. So we can click Finish Sketch, and we can edit it. So from a corner view, I can get an idea of what my block is going to look like. We're going to go ahead and extrude this out a bit, and it should protrude from my face. Now here you're going to see an operation. So this is really, really key. Make sure you're paying attention to this part. My operation is set to a join as opposed to new body. Right? If you're getting a new body, that means you're not necessarily drawing on an existing face. The great part about join is it becomes one single part. Right? So if we do that as a separate new body, I'm now going to have two separate bodies. So we're going to go ahead and press OK. Great. Now we have the F protruding from our shape. I actually want to edit that feature. I feel like that's protruding a little bit too much. If I were to give this to my daughter, she might hurt herself. So we'll go to Edit Feature, and we're going to adjust the distance to 0.10. I think we're going to do a lot of 0.10s on this. Perfect. So that's just a small, tenth of an inch extrusion. Okay. Over here, under bodies, you can see that we have one single body. If you have two, go back to that last step. Go back to that last step. Make sure you're making sure you're set to join and not new body. Perfect. We can select that, and we can go into rename, and we're going to rename that. We're just going to call that block. Perfect. Now that you have the handle on that, why don't we add a couple more things? So on the other side here, we can do the same steps. We can do our first initial. So with that block selected, we can go into Edit. We can create our sketch on it. And again, you can go in and add your text. So create text. I'll go a little bit faster this time. Doesn't matter really the size of the text box. We'll type the letter D for my first name. And we'll set the height again to 1.75. Perfect. Press OK. We can grab the shape and slide it up a little bit. This actually seems a little bit too big, so I might scale this one down just a hair. So I'll go, 1.6. I'm not going to take all points if yours is a different size than mine. That's quite all right. Size it up. And again, we're going to go to Extrude. Now, the neat thing I'll show you on this one is if you wanted to change it up, maybe this was a tactile block, you can take your letter and you can actually extrude inwards. So I'm going to extrude inwards by 0.10, and you'll see it just changed my operation to a cut. The great thing about this, if you're doing cuts, right, is if you have experience in Tinkercad, you can use one shape to cut into another. That's what we're doing here. So that's going to cut inwards, and I can press OK. Under Objects to Cut, you can actually select or deselect the objects you're dealing with. I have one object here. Maybe you have multiple objects, and you want to be precise about what you're cutting into. So we're just going to cut into the block and press OK. It'll take a minute to calculate, and there you go. You've got the letter D and the letter F. Perfect. Now we got two sides here. I'll let you take some freedom here. So if on this side we wanted to select this and do our sketch, we can go underneath here, and we're going to use the spline tool. I want you to draw some sort of crazy shape. So you can draw out, add yourself a curve. Kind of looks like a whale. I don't know. You can press OK. And this one we're going to extrude outwards again. Now I'm moving a little bit faster. I did want to show you, if your shape is closed, you should be able to select it. If for some reason these points, right, for my polygon, they aren't touching, then it's going to fail. So that's just something to be cautious of. So if you select it and it doesn't do that, go back, check, make sure your geometry is correct, that all the points are touching. Great, we can grab that shape, and we're going to extrude inwards. Let's do 0.10 again. Perfect. Create a little indent. And on the other side here, we'll do an extrusion out. Let's do a star, right? Kids like stars. So we'll go ahead and grab our sketch. And we'll go underneath and select our polygon. They might not even have a star. We could draw one ourselves, but again, we're just trying to get the hang of things here. So I'll do a polygon. It's from the center, we'll draw out. Options should appear, so I can select my edge number. Let's do 8. Make it a stop sign. And we can select that face, and oh, so this is popping off. This is a great example. So just like we would do in AutoCAD, we can move it. So under Modify, there should be Move Copy. All right, and we're going to get lots of options here. So you can see I can select all the outside here, for the entire thing. Underneath my move options here, it's going to ask me for move selection, right? We should be able to select the entire thing. And then I can simply drag it, slide it over, and slide it down. Also, I believe select the center point here and drag it as you would like. Great. So I have my stop sign object centered there, and I'll press OK. When I finish Sketch, we can, again, take this and pull it out. As a reminder, we don't want the operation to be a new body. We want the operation to be a join. So make sure you change that. Make sure you're cognizant of that. And we can pull this outwards, 0.10. Great. So we've made a pretty good block here. And one change I want to make is perhaps this object were, to be mounted on a, I don't know, some sort of plaything like an abacus or a piece of metal. So we're going to put a hole through the whole thing. There's 2 ways we could do that, right? We could do a sketch on the top and extrude the whole thing through, but we're going to try a new tool. So up here, you're going to find the hole tool, and we're going to select, again, you're going to see that a lot, right? Those yellow squares. It's asking me what axis I'm going to draw on. So we're going to select the top axis. Going to our top axis, we can drag this object and center it to our center point, and we're going to set the width of this hole to be 0.5, half of an inch. And rotating to a corner view, we can get an idea of how long this is going to go and our taper angle. So this is really nice if you're creating pre-drills. Maybe you're making a mount. You want to 3D print something to hang like a skateboard or a guitar. You might want to have a taper hole so you can drill it out with a drill later, or if you want to accommodate a certain type of bit. In this case, we're not concerned with that, so we're going to just pull this straight all the way through. You always want to rotate around as you're working just to make sure that you're getting that. Perfect. And once you pull the way through, you can press OK. Looking down here on my timeline, right, I can jump back as I pull this, and you can see I can undo all my steps or jump forwards. We want to make sure that we're not deleting certain things or jumping all the way back, right? So if you want to jump back a certain thing and redo something, that's fine, but everything that comes after that step has to be deleted. All right, I think we're in good shape here. We got most of our cube done, but I think that there's a couple more things that I could show you before we get going. So if I wanted to add another portion of this, like maybe I wanted to have an extra object up here, we could use the Combine tool. So we're going to go underneath Create. I'm going to pull this out for a minute, and I'm going to create a torus. All right, torus is just a fancy donut, right? We're going to select the bottom axis here. If you're having trouble selecting that object, go over here and just hide it, right? So we'll select that axis, and we're going to draw a torus. Now this torus, we're going to draw to a size of 2.2. It should load up, and it's going to ask me some options over here. Our torus diameter, 0.6. That seems just fine to me. That's going to be the diameter of what is actually rotating around on this circle. Position on center, operation new body, great. So now we should end up with over here a new body. We can just call this torus for now. We are about to combine it, so it won't matter too much in a second. So undoing our block here, we have our torus. I'm going to pull this object up and make it sit on top. So with our torus selected, we're going to right click on it, and you can go to Move Copy, or you can go underneath Modify and select Move Copy. It's really up to you. Under Move Copy, we're going to grab our torus, and we're going to pull it up towards the top. So it just sits like this. And we're going to join it. Now we're going to practice that combine option I was talking about, where we're going to actually cut into it. So because this is centered, we can go to the combine. And our target body is going to be our block. Our tool body will be the torus, and we're going to change the option to a cut, and we'll press OK. Now we should end up with a pretty unique little cut right there, right? And that should have hopefully cut into my object pretty good. All right. You can repeat the option on the bottom if you would like. Really great way to do that, right, is to jump back a step to our move copy. And watch this. If you go to edit or move, I should say. Let me see here. Edited the wrong thing. It's not giving me the option. When you do move things, there's the option for you to create a copy, which is pretty nice. So when you drag down, usually that should pop up. It's not now, but that's a quick way to make a copy. So we'll leave it for now. I think it looks just fine with the top cut out. All right, I think we've gone over just about everything that I need to show you before we get started, other than revolving. So under our create tool, we've gone over all of that. In the pumpkin tutorial you're going to do next, you're going to make use of some of these tools. You'll also learn a little bit about form, but this is just our basic cube to start. Yeah, I think we'll leave it there for today. There's a lot more things that we're going to cover over the next couple of tutorials and a couple of projects, but I think that's a good starting point. So we talk about extrude, web emboss, thread. Yeah, we'll be good for now. All right, till next time. Thanks very much for tuning in. Just submit this block. Oh, that is probably one thing I have to show you. So I'll make a separate video for how to turn in your objects as a share link and also as an STL. So there's two different processes. Thanks.